name's Heidi, and I'm going to be taking us through a beginner's Vinyasa flow. This will be a level 2 beginner's flow. If you watched my first video, the level 1 video, this will be building upon what we learned in that first video. Let's start in child's pose. And take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Again, inhale. And exhale. With your next inhale, let's gently glide up to our hands and knees. And then you want to stack your joints, shoulders right over your wrists, hips right over your knees. And then we'll start to move through a few rounds of cat-cow here. As you inhale, pull the shoulders back as you draw the chest forward. As you exhale, draw your chin to your chest, lift your belly and round your spine. Inhale to lengthen forward. And then exhale to round. And let's take 3 more breaths just like this. One more inhale. And then tuck the toes, press back, downward dog, exhale. Take a moment to settle into your down dog. You can lengthen one heel to the mat and then the other. And then let's come to stillness in our down dog and see if you can spread your fingers just a little bit wider. You want your index finger pointing forward. And then can you slightly hug the elbows in? Soften through your elbows, and then see if you can soften your knees slightly as well as you press the chest back towards your thighs. Can you feel your back lengthen, right? So you're extending the tailbone up towards the sky here. Let your head be heavy, maybe shake your head no, releasing any tension from your neck. With your next inhale, let's extend the right leg up. Reach that leg as long as you can. And then with your next inhale breath, start to roll the leg open, reaching the leg even higher. And then bend the upper knee. Take a look at your left toes, make sure they're pointing straight forward, and then see if you can square your right shoulder a little more towards your mat. Inhale to extend the leg. Square your hip to the floor. As you exhale, draw your knee towards your nose. Lift your belly round through your spine. So there's that core engagement. Flex the foot, step it through, right? Remembering that you can always grab onto the ankle and boost it forward if it doesn't make it all the way there. I'll use some blocks today for a few exercises. So if you have some blocks at home, they're a nice way to kind of give yourself a little more lift and a little more length, right? So from this runner's lunge, I can place my fingertips on the blocks, and then I'm really able to kind of extend my spine a little bit more. Take an inhale, reach the chest forward. As you exhale, let's straighten the front leg, and then round over your leg. If your hamstrings are really tight, it's okay to have a slight bend in that front knee, but see if you can slightly pull that right hip back. Can you think about lifting your belly away from your right thigh? And with your next inhale, shift forward. And then as you exhale, let's step into a forward fold, top of the mat. Halfway lift, so hands on your shins. Remember, pull the shoulders back as you reach the chest forward. And then exhale. exhale, forward fold. Soften through the knees as you rise all the way up to stand, reaching to the sky. And then exhale, bring hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. And then set your hands down, let's step to plank pose. So your shoulders should be right over your wrists. Elbows are a little bit soft here, right? Can you hug the elbows slightly in so you feel your chest muscles engage? And then can you squeeze through your inner thighs, squeeze through your glutes, and then lift your belly without lifting your hips, right? So you're in a long, straight line. With your next inhale, shift forward, set the knees down, hug the elbows in, and then slowly lower all the way to your belly. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Lift your belly and then inhale into your low cobra. Chest is extending forward. Exhale, lower down. Press back up to hands and knees. And then tuck your toes and press back downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. And deep breath out. Inhale to extend the left leg up. Start by reaching that leg as long as it'll go. And then you can start to roll that hip open, being cautious that you don't collapse too much weight into that right side. Bend your upper knee. Inhale to extend your leg. Square your hip to the floor. And then exhale, knee to nose. Pausing here to lift through your core. Belly is lifting. And then we'll step the foot through, runner's lunge, right? So you can come up onto fingertips here. Maybe you're gonna choose to use blocks if you have those. And then just notice here how much more length I can get forward just with a little more height. Inhale, draw the chest forward. And then exhale to lengthen and bow. Let's pause here and see if we can pull the left hip back as the right hip draws slightly forward. And then can you think about scooping your stomach away from your left thigh? With your next inhale, shift forward back to your runner's lunge. And then exhale to your forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach high. Exhale, fold forward right away. Halfway lift, inhale. Set your hands and step to plank pose as you exhale. Inhale, shift forward. Hug the elbows in, lower all the way down, maybe without setting the knees down this time. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back down. And this time we'll try pressing to a kneeling plank. So set your hands right by your ribs. Lift your belly off the mat. Squeeze through your glutes and inner thighs. And then see if you can press up in a diagonal line, right to that kneeling plank. And then we'll tuck the toes and press it back downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Bend the knees, look forward, walk to the top of the mat. Let's separate our feet hip width distance apart here. Soften through your knees and then let's interlace hands at the lower back. And then we'll allow the shoulders to stretch here. So you're going to extend your knuckles towards the ceiling. Right? If it's really hard for you to get your arms straight here or you can't even clasp your hands together, then you could grab a towel or a strap, and so it would take your arms a little wider and it would give you a little more space to stretch. Let your head be heavy. Let's release our hands to the floor. Heel toe feet to touch. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, rise, reach to the sky. And then exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Set the hands and step to plank pose as you exhale. All right, so we're going to learn here a chaturanga, right? And we're going to try this first time taking the kneeling version of chaturanga. If we do this and it feels like too much, then you're going to continue lowering to your belly and taking low cobra. And every time we come to these transitions, right? But let's learn this kneeling chaturanga and see how it feels in your body. Inhale to shift forward, right? So the shoulders are coming ahead of the wrists. Set the knees down, keep your gaze a little forward, hug the elbows in, lower halfway down, right? So you're coming to this 90-degree angle with the arm. You want to make sure that the shoulder's not dipping below the level of your elbow. Press the tops of your feet into the mat and then lift the thighs, right? So it's almost like a plank first, and then you just start to draw the chest up, coming into your upward facing dog. Notice how my legs are lifted all the way off the mat. My glutes are tight, my belly's lifting, my elbows are soft, right? There's some buoyancy through the arms. Take one more inhale, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, and out. Bend the knees, look forward, walk to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Plank pose, exhale. So we'll try this again, now moving a little quicker, right? One breath per movement. Inhale, shift forward, set the knees down. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog, opening the chest. Exhale, lift the belly up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. Bend the knees, look forward, walk to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Plank pose, exhale. All right, so we can try one time without sitting the knees down here, right? If you did it the kneeling version and it felt okay, what you're gonna do for the full chaturanga is same thing, right? Except we're just not gonna sit those knees down. So on an inhale, let's shift it forward. Exhale, lower halfway down, right? Notice how my belly's not sagging. I'm still in that nice straight line. Flip the feet, inhale, come up, upward facing dog. And then as you exhale, use the belly, lift yourself back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Bend the knees, look forward, walk to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Chair pose, inhale, right? So sitting the bum back like you're sitting in a chair. And then squeeze through the inner thighs. Glance down, make sure you can see your toes, right? If you can't see your toes, remember you're gonna see if you can shift a little more weight back into your heels. Think about lifting your low belly away from your thighs. Can you feel your lower back get a little longer as you do that? Your gaze is slightly ahead of you so the neck stays long. And then see if you can glide the shoulder blades a little more down towards your waist. Let's take one more inhale. Bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Plank pose, exhale. All right, so again, remembering that when we come to these vinyasa transitions, you always have the option to lower to your belly and take low cobra instead of taking chaturanga or upward dog, right? So you never want to sacrifice form to advance too quickly, right? So just listen to your body and notice what you feel. If it feels like too much, you can just back off and go back to that low cobra version. Inhale, shift forward. Maybe you're going to set the knees down. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward dog or low cobra, right? And then exhale, downward dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Inhale to extend the right leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. Lift through the belly. And then step the foot through. Warrior one. And inhale, you rise up. And then as you remember, in Warrior One, you're trying to square the hips forward, right? So let's release our hands to our hips for just a moment. Right hip's pulling back, left hip's gonna draw forward. And then your back foot's at about a 45-degree angle, and you don't want the front foot right in front of the back one, right? It makes it really tough to square the hips. So just check and make sure if the front foot's right in front of that back one, I want you to take that right foot a few inches over to the right. And now, notice how you can square those hips a little more easily. Lift your low belly, try to lengthen your tailbone under you, and then reach your arms up. And take one more inhale. And then open up to Warrior Two, exhale. Checking out our alignment here once again. Front knees right over the front ankle. Your back foot is now parallel with the back edge of the mat. Belly is still lifting. Both hips are pointing in this direction now, right? So now we're in an open hip position. Inhale to reach and reverse your warrior, stretching through that right side. So again, it's an upward energy to stretch. You're not going to collapse back and crunch this left side. Instead, all the belly muscles are pulling in and up, and you're reaching up, up, up as much as you can. Take one more inhale, and then exhale into your side angle. So let's take the right forearm to the thigh, reach the left arm up. Right, it's really common for this kind of bottom shoulder to dip forward like this. So I want you to think about pulling that right shoulder back. And then maybe if this feels steady, you can start to straighten that right arm and then use your forearm to see if you can open up the hip a little bit more. If that made your chest kind of collapse this way, see if instead of doing that, as you open the knee, can you use that leverage to try to twist the chest a little more open towards the ceiling. Let's hold here for another breath. And then start to take that top arm over your ear. Pull your left shoulder blade down your back. See if you can puff your ribs a little more towards the sky so you're feeling a huge stretch along that left side. With your next inhale, use your legs. Let's reach and reverse. And then exhale down to plank pose, right? Spinning the arms down. You move through a runner's lunge to plank. Inhale, shift forward, and then you're going to choose your level, right? It could be kneeling chaturanga. It could be all the way to your belly. Or if you're feeling strong, it could be a full chaturanga. Inhale into your upward facing dog. And then exhale up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in and out. Inhale to extend the left leg up. Knee to nose, lift through the belly, and then step the foot through. Warrior one, inhaling to rise. And then check out your alignment, right? So again, just take the hands to the hips for a moment. Notice if your front foot's right in front of your back one. If it is, you're going to take the front foot more to the left. Draw the left hip back, try to press the right hip forward, and then lift your low belly. Let's sweep the arms up. Take one more inhale. Open up warrior two, exhale. So I like to adjust my back foot when I move from warrior one to warrior two. But you can kind of find the version that works best for you. But now you're making sure that the front heel is lined up with the back archer heel. This back leg is super strong, that quadriceps engaged. Inhale to reach forward and then reverse your warrior. Keep pulling the left shoulder blade down as you try to stretch through the left side of your waist, reaching the waist up towards the sky. Take one more inhale. And then exhale to side angle. All right, so left forearm comes to the thigh, right arm reaches up. You're going to think about pulling your left shoulder back and then lifting out of that left shoulder. Imagine you're trying to lean your back up against a wall, right? So you're two-dimensional here. If this feels okay, you can start to straighten the bottom arm and then see if you can open up a little more through the hip as you draw the belly muscles in and try to twist the chest more open. And then we can extend our side angle, right? So this is reaching that top arm over the ear. You're still going to pull that right shoulder blade down, but then can you lengthen the right side of your waist by puffing the ribs up towards the sky just a little bit? With your next inhale, keep the legs steady as you reach and reverse your warrior. And then we'll exhale down to plank pose. Pause in your plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Open the chest. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. And deep breath out. Bend the knees, look forward, walk to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale to chair pose. Coming right back to that nice steady chair where you're feeling your inner thighs, you're feeling your belly. Take an inhale and then bring hands to heart as you exhale. Inhale to lengthen forward. So you're going to come to this diagonal spine, right? Notice that my back's not arched, right? I'm lifting through my belly. Pull the shoulders back, try to draw the chest a little bit more forward, taking one more inhale. As you exhale, twist from the belly. Your left elbow is going to go towards your right knee. Right, if it can't quite reach all the way there, you can take it to the left knee instead, right? It's just a little shorter of a distance, gives you a little more space. Let's press into that bottom hand and then press your chest. Twist it to the right. Glance down, make sure your knees are even. With your next inhale, let's open the arms. This is another good opportunity to use a block. It could be on any setting. Take your left fingertips to the block as you reach your right arm up, right? So the knees are still even. I'm twisting from my mid-waist. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach up. And hands to heart. Chair pose. Hands to heart and chair. With your next inhale, hinge forward, staying in that diagonal spine, lifting your belly. Can you pull the shoulders back and draw the chest forward? Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, hug the belly in as you twist. Right elbow's gonna go towards that left knee, right? You're just gonna take it as far as is manageable. You don't wanna compress that bottom side, right? And then once you're there, you have to press into the bottom hand and see if you can lift your chest up and twist it to the left, right? So both sides of my waist are nice and long. Inhale, open the arms, maybe using a block, right? You could also take your fingertips to the floor. Reach the left arm up, keep the knees even. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Plank pose, exhale. Inhale, shift forward. Choose your version of your vinyasa, right? Inhale, opening the chest, low cobra or upward dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in and out. Inhale to extend the right leg up. Knee to nose, lift through the core. And then step the foot through runner's lunge. From here, we're gonna rise up to crescent lunge. So maybe the right foot sneaks a little bit to the right. Maybe you wanna hop your back foot in for stability. That back heel's gonna stay lifted nice and high. You're gonna start on the fingertips, right? Again, if you need assistance coming up, you can grab your blocks, lift your belly off your thigh, and then sweep the arms up, crescent lunge. Soften through your back knee, lift your belly and lengthen your tailbone under you. Take an inhale. As you exhale, sweep the arms back, coming to the diagonal spine here in crescent lunge. So my shoulder blades are pulling down my back to spread my chest. And then we'll start to transfer a little more weight into that right foot. Can you come up onto left tippy toes, right? We're moving towards an airplane pose. Eventually, right from this position, you'll press right to airplane. But for now, maybe you're gonna hop your back foot a few inches in. Upper back stays strong, and then you just start to tip like a seesaw. See if you can hover those left toes off the mat. Maybe this is as far as you go today. Maybe you're able to take this to the full airplane pose, which is, you know, a letter T with the body from the side, right? So my hips are square, my left hip is squaring towards the floor, my belly is lifting. If this feels like too much, you could still transfer all the weight into that right leg and just tap the toes down for support here, right? Take one more breath. And then we'll gently land back in crescent lunge. Bending through that right knee, let's inhale to sweep the arms up. And then exhale to bring hands to heart. Inhale to lengthen forward. Exhale to twist, left elbow, right knee. Right, again, if it feels too compressed here in that bottom side to take the elbow there, you could take your forearm to your thigh, make a fist with your left hand, and then cover it with your right hand so that you can lift up and away. This allows you to lengthen your waist and maybe get a little more twist through your mid-back. Right, if your right leg is just dying and cramping on you here, then just go ahead and set the back knee down and stay in that twist. Inhale, open the arms, right? You can take your left hand to a block right inside your right foot as you reach that right arm up. Your back knee could still be down here. Take one more inhale. Exhale, both hands down. Spin your back heel down, and then let's come up to warrior two. Inhale to reach and reverse your warrior. As you exhale, you're going to start to extend forward with that right arm. We're moving towards a half moon. So this is very similar, right? We just went from crescent lunge to airplane. That was a closed hip transition. This is now an open hip transition. We're going to be moving towards half moon. So you start to transfer weight into that right foot. Maybe one day right from here you'll fly into half moon, but for now, you're going to keep the same open hip position as you hop the back foot a little bit in. Start to transfer weight forward. You're going to grab a block. If you don't have a block, you can use a water bottle or anything else you have at home. You want it about 1.5 feet in front of your right foot, a little to the right. Place your fingertips on the block, and then you're just transferring weight and seeing if you can float those left toes off the floor. Can you peel the top hip a little bit more open? And see, this is a little wobbly for me on this side. You want to look at those bottom toes, make sure they're pointing straight forward. And then can you peel the top hip open? We're really strong through that aerial leg. And then slowly land back, warrior two. See, that was a little tippy on that side for me, right? But it's okay, right? If you lose your balance, you just come back to it and you just don't worry about it, right? It's part of the learning process. Balancing is a really tough thing. From here, let's inhale to reach and reverse our warrior. Exhale down through runner's lunge to plank, right? So you're gonna plant both hands, step your right foot back, plank pose. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway down or all the way down. Inhale, low cobra or upward dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and out. We'll take 2 more breaths here. If you feel like you need a little bit of a rest, you can come to a child's pose for those 2 breaths, or you could just stay in your downward dog. And then if you're in child's pose, let's come back to downward dog. Inhale to extend the left leg up. Exhale, knee to nose to step the foot through. Coming up to our crescent lunge, right? So maybe you're going to use blocks here. Maybe you're just going to come up onto fingertips. You're going to lift your belly off your thigh, maybe sneak that left foot a little more to the left, and then sweep the arms up, crescent lunge. Hug your belly in and lengthen your tailbone down. Take an inhale. Exhale, sweep the arms back, coming to that nice diagonal spine. Keep your gaze forward, keep lifted through your belly as you start to transfer weight into your left foot. You're going to hop that back foot in as much as you need to, and then you just see if it's possible to hover those right toes off the mat. Maybe you're here. Maybe you can take it a little lower, right? But your shoulders never go below the level of your hips. My belly's pulling up and in. My upper back is nice and strong. I have a slight bend in my standing leg. And then gently we're going to land it back into crescent lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring hands to heart. Inhale to lengthen forward. Exhale to twist, right elbow, left knee, right or right forearm, left thigh. Press up and away, twist your chest to the left. Hips stay nice and square, right? So just notice if the right hip starts to collapse down, can you pick the right hip up, pull the left hip back. Remember, you could choose to set your back knee down. With your next inhale, open your arms, right? So you could just have your fingertips on the floor, you could use a block. One more inhale. Exhale, both hands down. Spin your back heel down, and then we'll come up to warrior two. Inhale to reach and reverse your warrior. As you exhale, we're moving in slow motion towards half moon. You play with the weight transfer, transferring weight into your left foot, noticing what muscles in this leg are working, right? And then all you do is just make this as short as you need to make it in order to be able to shift your weight forward, right? Your block is now going to go a little to the left of that front foot, about 1.5 feet in front. Right arm's reaching up. And then you just see if you're able to float that back foot off the floor. Can you start to peel the top hip open, making yourself two-dimensional here? Right arm's reaching up. That back leg is super strong and engaged. All right, can you take that top hip maybe a little more open towards the sky? See, I'm steadier on this side, right? Take one more breath. Slowly bend through that standing leg. You're going to land gently as you can back to your warrior two. Inhale, reach and reverse your warrior. Exhale down through plank to chaturanga or all the way to the mat. Inhale, upward dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Take a deep breath in and deep breath out. One more inhale and exhale. Bend the knees, look forward, walk to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Plank pose, exhale. Right, at this point, maybe you feel too tired to do another chaturanga, so you could choose to just press right back to downward dog. Or you could flow through one final vinyasa transition. That's what we call these transitions, right? Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. Coming right away up to warrior two. Inhale to reach and reverse your warrior. Straighten your front leg. And now you're going to lift up through the quadricep here. You're going to start to send your hips back as you start to extend that right side. So now my arms are parallel with the floor. I'm going to reach that right arm, see if I can reach it a little bit more forward. So notice how long this bottom side here is. Torso stays the same. All I'm going to do now is pivot my arms, and then my right fingertips are going to rest on my right shin. Right, so now I'm in a triangle pose, which is just like side angle, except this front leg is straight. So now I'm getting this super nice hamstring stretch. Try to lean the upper body back, pull the belly in. Right, and then just notice how much weight's in this bottom hand. You don't want to be dumping all your weight down into this arm. You want to be lifting up out of the shoulder
right? You should have such a light hold on that shin that you could even hover your hand off your shin for a moment. Take one more breath. And then inhale to come up. Bring your hands to your heart. We're gonna spin our back heel in and then bend our knees coming down into a horse stance. We're gonna hold this for just a couple of breaths. Right, so in horse stance, you're really trying to open up through the knees. My feet are turned out as much as I can turn them out, so they're not quite parallel with the edges of the mat, but almost. Lift up through your low belly, try to get your tail under you. And we'll just hold for 3 breaths. Inhale, straighten the legs, turn your feet parallel with the edges of your mat, catch your hips. And then we'll lengthen forward, coming into a straddle forward fold. Release your hands to the mat. Let your head hang, shake your head no. Inhale, halfway lift here in this straddle forward fold, right? So spine is long. And then we're gonna walk our hands forward back to our runner's lunge. We're gonna try for traditional half pigeon this time. So from this runner's lunge, you're gonna heel to the right foot across towards your left wrist. And then you're gonna shift forward on that back foot so that you can set your right knee down kind of in line with that right hand. Set your back knee down, untuck your back toes, and then you want that back leg nice and long, so maybe you slide that back leg back just a little bit. Right, so I'm again still trying to square my hips here. I'm gonna start this pigeon lifted because it's a really nice extension for that front body. My right hip's pulling back, my left hip is drawing forward. I'm still lifting up through my low belly. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, you're gonna lengthen the spine forward. Walk the hands out, right? So maybe you're here. If this feels really challenging to hold, you could take a block right underneath your right bum, and it gives you a little support, right? So that you're able to keep the hips square. And then maybe you have the space to come down onto your forearms. We'll take 5 breaths right here. One more breath. And then begin to press your torso up. If you have a block underneath your right bum, you're going to remove your block. Plant your hands. Let's tuck our left toes under. And then can you press the hips up as you swing that right leg back, coming right into that 3-legged dog. Roll the hip open, bend the knee. Inhale, extend your leg, and then exhale to set it down, coming back to your downward dog. Let's lift our bellies. As we inhale, we're going to roll forward to a plank position. As you exhale, slowly lower all the way to your belly. Place your forehead on the mat, reach your arms down at your sides with your palms facing the floor. Zip up through your inner thighs, lift your belly away from your mat. Roll the shoulders back, and then see if you can float the legs and float the arms, coming into a locust pose. Don't worry about how high you lift here. Think about lengthening your body. So you're trying to extend your chest forward as you reach the shoulders back, the arms back, the legs back. Take one more inhale. Exhale to release. Let's take the backs of the hands to the mat, and you rest your left ear. And then we'll set up for locust round 2. Bring your forehead to the mat, flip your palms to face the floor. Right, so this time you could take your hands and interlace them at your lower back if you want. You could do the first version again if you prefer. You're going to stretch your knuckles towards your heels. This is another time where if you have really tight shoulders, you could use a towel or a strap. Lift your belly, stretch your legs, and then lift up. So now you're just getting a little more stretch into those shoulders. Take one more inhale. And then exhale to lower down, turning the right ear to the mat, letting the arms relax at your sides. And then let's set our hands by our ribs. Press yourself up and back. Take a moment in child's pose. And then back to downward dog. Inhale to extend the left leg up. Step the foot between the hands. Back heel spins flat, warrior two. Inhale to reach and reverse your warrior. Straighten your front leg, squeeze through the quadriceps. Shift your hips back as you extend that left side. You're gonna reach as long as you can in that left side. And then just pivot the arms, triangle pose. Again, pull your low belly and try to get your tail under you. Lean your head and your upper body back, right? So you're two-dimensional. Again, making sure you're not dumping weight down into that bottom arm. Can you lift up out of that arm? Maybe even see if you could hover your hand for a moment off your shin. Take one more breath. Use the strength of the legs, come up. This time we'll close the front foot. Take your hands to your hips right away. We'll take it down, straddle, forward fold, right away this on the second side. Release your hands to the floor and then see if you can reach your ankles. Engage the quadriceps and then inhale to lengthen your spine. So you're going to take your gaze towards the floor, really get as long as you can. As you exhale, bend the elbows wide to the sides as you maybe bring your forehead a little closer to the floor. One more breath. And then release your ankles, place your hands in front of you. Inhale, halfway lift in your straddle forward fold. Walk your hands to the top of your mat, runner's lunge. Setting up for pigeon on the second side, right? So you're gonna heel toe your left foot towards your right wrist. And then shift forward on those left toes so that you can set your left knee down, right? So this front shin is at a diagonal line. I'm really stretching that back leg behind me, right? So that I'm feeling a stretch to the front of my right leg. And then if this bum is super far away from the floor, you're just gonna take a little plop underneath your hip. It gives you some nice little support. Take an inhale here as you lengthen up. One more inhale. And then exhale, maybe you start to walk your hands forward. Maybe this is as far as you go. Maybe you're able to sit your forearms down. And then we'll take 5 rounds of breath on this side. Breath. And then press your torso up. Remove your block if you're using it. Set your hands, tuck your back toes under. Can you press up to three-legged dog? Roll the hip open, bend the knee. Inhale, extend the leg. And then exhale, set it down, downward facing dog.
Bend the knees, look forward, and then walk to the top of the mat. And then just sit down. Take your hands underneath your shins here, shift your weight back into your tailbone, and we'll come into a boat pose, right? So you're gonna come into this position where your shins are parallel with the floor. From here, pull the shoulders down and then try to lift the chest. And then maybe you're able to stretch your arms forward into your full boat pose. Maybe you're even able to stretch your legs a little longer, but if you start to straighten the legs and your chest starts to collapse, that's no good, right? It's more important to have the spine long. So you wanna make sure you can really lift here. And then if you can keep that lift and start to stretch the legs, then great. If not, you're gonna bend the knees a little bit. Take an inhale, and then exhale to low boat, right? So if you need support, you can grip your thighs. In low boat, you have just the lower back down. It's anchored on the mat, you're looking at your belly, you're pulling it in. Maybe the arms float forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and knees in, relax it back. Rock a little side to side here on your sacrum. And then we'll take a moment in happy baby. So bend the knees, grab onto the outsides of the feet, pull the knees down to the mat on either side of your rib cage. And then we'll set our feet down hip width distance, moving into a bridge pose. Arms down at your sides. You're going to walk your fingertips towards your heels. Shoulders are away from the ears. Hug your low belly in and then roll up, leading with the tailbone as you press your hips up. And we'll pause here for 2 more breaths. Take one more inhale, and then exhale to pull the ribs and rolling down one vertebra at a time. Hug your knees into your chest. Take your arms wide, palms up, and then let both knees fall to the right. Maybe taking the gaze all the way to the left. With your next inhale, bring your knees through center. And then exhale to drop the knees over to the left. Maybe gazing over that right arm. Slowly come back to center. Hug your knees in one final time so you can curl up and bring your forehead to your knees, squeezing everything in nice and tight. And then release into your Shavasana. Let the feet flop open, the palms face up, and then just let go. Let's take one final deep breath in, filling up through the chest and the lungs. See if you can hold the breath for just a moment, and then let it go. And then just begin to wiggle fingers and toes. And then start to curl over to your left side or right side, whatever feels best for you. Pausing here to breathe. And then let's slowly begin to press to a seated position, bringing our hands to heart. We'll finish our practice with one Om together. Take a deep breath in. Thank you so much for joining me for this level 2 Vinyasa flow. I hope you enjoyed it.